So I'm talking about these cards here that have a lot of symbols related to actually very technical information for the people who know how to read them. And that's what I'm going to try to help you out with, because all of these things are not just fantasies. They're not just symbols. They're not just thoughts and, oh, isn't that cute and isn't that neat? That's a pretty neat system or whatever. There are amazing, amazing, amazing facts in an understanding of what rotates. Now I'm going to cover some more terms here to expand on a really particular, very, very important thing. In the process of generating life, in the process of generating all the different systems, all the different kinds of beings, there has to be the interplay of some systems, some powerful systems. This system here that we're in with Sirius, and there's another part of it, actually, there's some other constellations involved, it has brought human beings and human life to the most incredible thing, because we are actually living water, really. That's a whole other thing to get into, but the fact is that our planet is water and we're water, and now we're basically inhabiting water. And water has some amazing, incredible properties, as a lot of people are realizing. But what I've done here is to try to get an idea of what's going on here, because there's an interplay in the process of creation, and in that creation process there has to be transfer of energy. There has to be the back and the forth, the motion, the waves, and not only in physical matter but in awarenesses. So people say, well, there's some Sirius beings and from beings from Sirius and so on. Now, my personal opinion is there's a whole lot of people on this planet that are from Sirius. Their consciousnesses are from Sirius. We've been there. We've been back and forth from there in our lifetimes in the past. Many people. And that's exactly what's happening, because now that these things are coming closer, these light beams are getting closer. They're enclosing. They're embracing now. So something really wonderful is starting to happen in a very literal sense on a cosmic scale. Now, in the part of this process of transformation of this is the greater star, this is the divine star, this is the star that has been longer, has a motion, it's larger, contains more energy, more stabilized perhaps. This star can benefit our star in a big way, in all the life on it. In fact, probably what we're saying here, the mythology says that, in fact, our star was born from that star. Now, if this is the relationship that we're going on, there's a process of communication where the souls who learn energy, they learn things, there's a process of involution and evolution, where souls and beings and groups of lives and channel and go through these vortexes and go through these rotational spin vortexes, and they get brought into another system. And that's the beauty of it. It's absolutely fantastic. And in the process, we get some things that people have talked about. We have devas and angels and avatars and teachers and various kingdoms of nature. And what all these things are patterns of energy, streams of energy. There's electrical energy. There's an energy that we need to pump our blood. There's another energy we need to channel our communications. There's another energy we need to stay upright. There's all kinds of these things that we need, and our Earth system needs it, our cosmic system needs it, and that is provided by the huge system that we're in. Now, from time to time, and this I believe is what's going on now, and has been going on for a long time, when this thing made this curve here, and we made our curve back, we started heading back roughly about 2,000 years ago, they say, and we're now entering a more locking in position, and we're going to cross, and there's going to be some polarity shifts. And in the process of this exchange of energy, we have all kinds of beautiful souls that can come in this way, and they want to have an experience on Earth, and they're helping, and they have lessons to learn, and they have things to do. And then the vice versa, and the souls that have been burnt out on this side for a while are getting some rest. Now, what's happening is, in my humble opinion, is that we're getting some physical manifestation through the UFOs, and we're getting some psychological manifestation through the waking up of people. that we actually are in a place of a tremendous celebration if we choose to accept it, in my humble opinion. Because it has been a long, long time. These ages go by and it's literally dark, just like when the sun goes down in wintertime and oh my God, it's horrible. I mean, I know spring's coming, but believe me, and this is the kind of feeling that you get after like 12,000 years, apparently. And now it's actually been more than that. It's been more like 14,000 years since we're all the way back to the center here. But now you can see how things go faster and faster and faster, because even though Sirius is now 8-point-something light years away, it is shining its light in a very, very powerful way, because it's a huge system and there's a big, big circulation of energy all around that system as well that affects it. So the waves actually extend far from the actual planets or suns. And actually, as we get further and further along here, eventually we don't want to be too close, because this is when all the huge magnetic upsets start happening, because that's really big time upset when they get that close, because there's a very, very powerful influence. Now, I'm going to take a moment to talk about a few different concepts that people want to consider. There's something people are called the Elohim. That's one terminology. And there's something called the Kohans. There are such things as group beings, just like there's a whole colony of beehive, for example. There are systems where life beings that may sort of like take a body, you might say, but they're not really at that point where they take a single body, if you understand. But this is a concept I want you to consider. Now, in this big cycle here, we have to synchronize ourselves. That's the whole thing. That's why timing in the clock was so important. And we have these things like we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it's all about the rotation here. It's rotation, rotation, rotation. Crop circles, 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 star circles. You see all the different evidence throughout the universe that spin is so important. Now, regards what I think is going to happen soon, I really believe that this is relevant information, because there's a lot going on right now and a lot of speculation. I think the Mayans probably had it right as far as, because they were relatively undisturbed, they had great math, and they built fantastic buildings up in the mountains where they could see the stars, and they had some calculations that they made that were quite accurate. And the Egyptians had it, but now it's hard for us. They argue over it now. There's all kinds of hoopla going on over Egypt. It wasn't Orion, it wasn't this, and that. It's just too much. But there's another evidence of a place in, I believe, a Watt there out in the middle. I forgot the name of it, but anyway, it's a science that was out in the East as well. It made it up into China, and is all about this whole cycle that we're in, called the Great Breath. Now, I have another minute or two here on this cycle, and I'm just going to cover a couple of tarot cards that have to do with astrology here. I want to point out a couple of things here. Here's the star. There's the 7 stars. The card is number 17. She's pouring water. There's a transfer. This is a transfer. Transfer of energy. Remember the transmigration, the balancing, fluid motion. Here's another one of balancing. You have the infinite sign. This is the number 8. And this is a really interesting one, temperance. And again, it's the balancing. You have a lot of activity going on in the background. Looks like a volcano. You have basically a triangle there. There's a turning out, a transfer of water. She's got 1 foot in water and 1 foot on land, and she's transferring water through a vortex. Those cups, they're like vortexes. There's a spinning cone. To the people who knew how to read these cards, they would see that, because they understood some of the physics. Here's the Joker. Like, it looks like a fool. He's playing with 2 pens. Look, there's 2 5-pointed stars. 2 stars in the motion, and it's saying something. Interesting, huh? So,